Before a spiritual awakening, one will consider themselves being different for whatever reasons that we have: race, religion, caste, creed, color, job, so many things that we can find to say that I am different or you're different, and that difference gives us a sense of entitlement. That difference gives our sense of self, that is individuate and separate, or at least perceived as separate from all that is, a chance to survive. The differences that we perceive amongst each other, with one another, are all there to serve one function and one function alone. And that one function is the survival of the individuate sense of self, the ego, the survival of the three-dimensional reality as being the only reality. For it to be the only reality, we will want to find a way of fighting to keep that. And to find a way of fighting to keep that is to maintain the divide, to maintain the difference. There are differences that we perceive between each other before a spiritual awakening and even during a spiritual awakening. There will be communities, there will be belief systems after a spiritual awakening. There will be so many of you that believe that the way that you're spiritually awakening is the only valid way. Or you might find that no, what I know is what I know and all else doesn't matter. Whether it is pre a spiritual awakening or post a spiritual awakening, wherever you are, whatever your set of beliefs is, whenever we're trying to hold on to belief, whenever we're trying to hold on to anything that sets us apart, whenever we're trying to hold on to anything, that is to say that I must win, I must be right, or they are wrong, they don't know, I know, anything folks, that creates difference, that creates duality, that creates separation. All these, yes, they're only separation felt at 3D, but 3D is as real as 3D is. 3D is as real as what it is that you're experiencing. 3D is as real as your consciousness. 3D is as real as your perception will have it be. Which is why, if you are still perceiving difference, and therefore giving energy to this difference and making that difference your experience, then that is pulling us back into density. That is pulling us back and down into that I am only the 3D. Because when you go beyond that and you experience yourself beyond all of that, when there has been a paradigm shift of consciousness in your spiritual awakening, and you're experiencing transcendental states, then the one thing you'll know, that to give energy to any differences that are perceived and born out of a sense of separation that is not even real, is a waste of energy. It's a waste of resources. And if anything, the push and pull that comes with that, the struggle that comes with that, the expenditure of energy that comes with that, remember, what does that do? It reduces the ether element in you and it increases the element of earth. It makes you denser. It pulls you back down to the root. Because the Muladhara, or the root, or what brings us back down, the lower triangle, is about survival. And as long as we are trying to survive, even during a spiritual awakening, if we're trying to survive in keeping with these differences, in insisting on these differences, then we remain in this loop of frustration, will remain in the doldrums of a spiritual awakening. We're never satisfied, and that's where we have moods that are almost bipolar. Our spiritual awakening is a bit like a psychosis. When there's resistance, when there's rigidity, when we want to compartmentalize or to try to understand or fathom that which cannot be through the mind, as long as we're trying to use the mind as a vehicle through which to cognize an awakening that is not of the mind, then we remain stuck. And as long as we are stuck, we want difference, because difference keeps us surviving. Difference keeps us holding on to that individuate sense of self. That difference keeps us holding on to fear. Fear of death. Ultimately, fear of this reality. Fear of that I am just this body. And those of you who are in between and who are coming out of this, you'll find that you're giving less and less importance to anything that's happening outside, and you're giving more and more energy in unraveling yourself like a present, that you remove a layer at a time, and you savor that experience, whether you're feeling really not great about it or you're ecstatic. You savor it either way as a flux of energy. Whichever way it's going, whichever emotion or feeling that it's bringing, it's a flux of energy. In the end, with these experiences, once you're able to come out of the one that is experiencing or the one that is the experience, you are simply stepping away from this and watching like you're watching a film. You remain neutral and unaffected by this. Lots of love. Thank you for being here and giving me a tiny bit of yourself today. Take care.